Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Well, we are into a new week and heading into all kinds of who knows what's going out there. But appreciate you guys all being with me on the show today and joining me. I have a number of multicolored pens, and this is one of my favorites because it's got a pencil on it. Isn't that cool? So it's not just the multicolored pens that you normally have, but this one also has a normal pencil on it. That's amazing. I love multicolored pens. I have a lot of them. I mean, I've got this one here. This is a 6-color pen. You know, and of course I carry just the normal ones, but these are different colors. I just love multicolored pens. Brent and Luna gave me this one, which is just a zillion colors, and I love those. Keep them right over here so I can use them at any time. So, multicolored pens, it's a thing. Definitely my main source of entertainment. All right. I'm going to work on springs today. As usual, we've been the weekend through, and not a lot's been going on here on here. I usually take the weekend and relax. But this last weekend, I was really struck by allergies. Just had a miserable weekend full of runny nose and watery eyes and coughing, and I don't know. I can't tell if I had a cold or if I was just suffering from allergies. Really can't tell. But either way, didn't do much in the way of work here over on the monitor. So, just take a normal, just a little terry cloth sort of thing. And we use it to just wipe down the monitor. There we go. So, we've already rigged up our comic for today. So we're going to have to go through and do all of our normal sort of work widget here because we've got to take out 239, which I really should make a new master that has that on it, but I don't think about it until it's too late. And this one's going to be 247. And I usually just make this just Arial. I don't make it very big. I just want to know which comic strip we're on here whenever we go back and audit them. It's funny. Someday we're going to hit 313. And when we do, I'm going to be like, this is such a surreal moment, you know, because when I originally did Springs a long time ago, and I'm talking about in 2000, I went on ahead and did 313 strips, but I drew them all in ballpoint pen and on normal copy paper. I actually didn't use ballpoint pen. As I recall, what I used was felt tip pens. I went and bought a set of felt tip pens that were all in different colors so that I could draw a different strip with a different color. The the idea behind this was that I was going to do 313 strips, which would be 1 year's worth of strips. But I wanted to just prove to myself that I could maintain the value, the humor value of 313 strips. As time has gone on, some of those 313 got moved up and elevated into newer versions. And some of them just, kind of evolved into different critters and stuff. That's an interesting thought. I've never thought about the idea of this. Let's do this. Let's see if we go back to the original 313 and just take one of the old ones. I wonder when we talk about like these guys here are the original 313. Right? And they were, I mean, some of these are, So anyway, sometimes I'm kind of curious whether some of these are recoverable. I think I warmed up later on. But one thing that I have discussed was the idea it says complete set small size. Does that mean are these large sized? These are large sized. Look at that. Now these are much better, much cleaner. Why in the world would somebody call me? Because I'm actually on air at this moment. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to redraw this one. I'm going to copy him. I'm actually going to move him over. And these guys look like they were at almost their correct size. So we're going to save as. This was the first Springs comic. I'm going to save it as. Yeah, these are 2013s. So do a new folder. And I'll call these 2000 redo. One thing that we are going to have to do at some point in time here is develop sort of a 2000 to 01 and this 001.psd. So I'm going to go ahead and redraw these, and I wonder if this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to regret redrawing them. But kind of thinking about these guys here as, let's take this and sort of make him down here like so. We'll put him in the panels. This is a 3 panel. So we'll switch to 3 panels and put him there as the blue line. Okay. So this is an experiment. All right. And we already sort of set up. I think my child is about to become one of those people where I'm going to have to come downstairs and talk to him. I don't know what's going on with people today. I feel like 18 is a good color there, or a good size. So in the original comic, I didn't have sort of the ability to do sort of this, which is looking to one side. I didn't know what I was doing in this one, so he's like looking at us, right? I'm going ahead and maybe. We'll see. I feel like the quill is not doing like I want it to do here. Yeah, I'm not very happy with any of this, actually. I know that we get a lot of. I know that Raph really likes the quill, but he's not liking it. Not working for me. I like the technical pen quite a bit, which is all right. You know, every artist has sort of a different medium that they work in. So we're gonna. Excuse me, I am still getting over being whatevered over the weekend. So if I were to take this guy and turn him off right here and then add a new layer and then just blue line him, what would it look like? If I were to redraw this, what would I do? Right? I would probably be more inclined to do something a little bit more dynamic with him, right? Kind of like this, you know, we're at this sort of angle here. So we're gonna kind of need to bring, whoa, not quite that big, guys. Bring this wheel over, because this is where this wheel is. Right, and so I'm flying a kite here with a key on it, because we all know what's going to happen next. And don't forget his whip antenna, because everybody has to have a whip antenna. Right, so if we do that, we get a little bit closer in here. No, it's not what we wanted. I want this to go this way. All right. Just putting in the treads here. We all know that as far as this goes, there we go. Now, the original says that it's a long shot right here. So we're going to go on ahead and just take our blue line right here. We're going to go, what would I redo here? I don't really typically do long shots in springs. It's not a very intimate shot, but I can kind of see where I was headed on this one. I need to show that we've got a kite flying out here somewhere, you know? I think it's also funny that in this original version, there were trees. Later, we've had an actual comic strip set about trees on Springs World and there being no trees. This last one, him trundling away, aggravated. So I'm going to just kind of real quickly, it's sort of a rough idea where he's trundling away from. A lot of things that I didn't do on the original version. So we talk a little bit in like animation circles and stuff like that about stretch and squish and what their jobs are in cartooning and animation, right? And their job, when we talk about stretch and squish, a lot of it has everything to do. So I kind of like giving him a little bit of a canter so that he looks like, kind of like lurching along. When talking about stretch and squish, we're talking about kind of giving the impression that something has motion. Now, all the creatures on Springs World are obviously going to be robotic. They're all robots. So in theory, they don't stretch and squish. And I've kind of over the years given them more stretch and squish. Because you kind of want to give them a little bit more you probably can hear me better now. You want to give them life. You want them to look alive. So we do a little bit of like here. You give him a little bit of stretch. Like he's stretching out to try to get a little, a little bit more All right. Giving a little bit more stretch, a little more squish, that kind of stuff. Kind of doing what we can here. Oh no. No, there we go. Now I'm purposely sort of letting this line be dotted. It's, sort of a thing. And part of it is just to imply that, it's not all there necessarily. It's not that it's not all there. Really, what we're trying to imply is it's so far away that the resolution of your television eyes don't see all of the pieces. There's no real logic behind it. It looks cool is what it really boils down to. There we go. One of the reasons that I like to do the ink work directly on the panel page, on the panel layer, is because it allows me just to take something like this, where I'm just going to have the entire dialog box just come right out there and just roll right over it. And the original is, a distance there and stuff like that, but that's okay. Now we'll go in here and we'll again, the benefit of stretch and squish is I need to show, in this instance here, that things are working kind of like that. And the other thing is, there are no mouths. I've never had mouths in springs. So using stretch and squish, I can get a certain amount of humor and something that looks almost like a frown because the curve of the front of his, I don't know, frame, it's bent up and around, which gives kind of that, he looks like he's frowning. He's all mad. I don't blame him. I have this door popped open here. Of course, part of the humor of the world of comics, he'll be fine in the next frame, in the next comic strip. You know. When you want something to look like it's moving, it is trundling along, you kind of want to make the wheels like they're going, like they've got kind of a spring to them as they move along, so that it gives sort of a feeling of motion. And of course, you put him just a little bit above the ground. That gives even more of a feel that something is moving along here. Some motion lines like that. And kicking up dirt as he goes along, trundling along. There we go. This became a disputed amongst my friends. It became a disputed punchline because we wanted to make I wanted to make the point that he got zotted by lightning, and so I couldn't. But you don't really get phobias of lightning; you get phobias of thunder. But it didn't. This wasn't thunder. He wasn't hit by thunder, so it was like, meh. So there's a little bit of a continual sort of argument about whether he should have a phobia of lightning or something like that. So what we're going to do first, though, is we have to make sure we have, the kazat. We're just piling all these things together. Right. Kazat. And then I'll make this Z much more like that. There we go. I'm going ahead and then boop, 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 boop. Let's go back and just shave it down. I don't have to be that awesome with it, because the truth of the matter is that there we go. And I'll fix these guys up in a second. We're just cleaning them up at this point. Making sure that they're totally readable. Then we're going to break them up a little here. And what's going to really happen here is I'm going to go ahead and just hold it for a moment because it's a different layer. And we'll come back to it in a second. Because really what I think I should do is something to the effect of this. We won't hold. Maybe we will do this right now. right, we'll just put the indicator that there we go, like that. Kazat. Now it just sort of looks like it's like, you know. And if I put on the other side of it in pin, things sort of indicate that this is on top, like so. This will help us a lot. And Kazat. Okay. Now let's take and we'll open the background. And we'll use some of the older backgrounds for this, because the newer backgrounds were kind of an evolution. And so I'll use some of this older background for it. The good news is that this older background already has the backdrop itself removable. So we're going to go ahead and add a layer in here and add some gray clouds to it. It's just going to be like, right? We'll take this guy and we're just going to do some tonal correction on him. Hue, saturation, desaturate it a little bit, because it's just going to be kind of that way, and darken it because it's a rainy day, right? And take the saturation a little bit more. And then we'll take the hue, and I want to make the hue more blue hue. Maybe not. If I rotate it too much, it'll be hard to identify as what we're looking for here as background. So, but red light is filtered through clouds. So I don't want to, but I also don't want it to be, it goes really red that way, doesn't it? Like purple. The truth is that red light's filtered through clouds, so we should just go ahead and just accept that this is what's going to be the thing. We're going to take our skin brush here. We're just going to go in on this gray layer here. I'm just going to put in some, dare I say, happy little clouds. All right, keep going kind of this way. Now, gray on the horizon tends to get a little whiter. So we're going to do this out here on the horizon. That's just giving me something to work with up there. And right up here is going to be really angry clouds. Right now, the clouds are pretty rough right here. There's some like kind of out here, fluffiness. Right. Kind of move back a little bit, back out of here like that. And kind of trying out. We're giving degrees of level of clouds as they go off to the back there. So that's all I'm kind of doing here is just adding little degree after little degree, sort of just variations in these clouds so that there's some just feels like it's, nasty and not pleasant. Any of us that live kind of in or around or near Tornado Alley, we sort of all kind of understand that dark clouds like that are ominous and bad. So not a plus on that, sort of thing. So we'll save this as, let's say that this is rainy plainy. Okay. Come in here, paste this on in. Now at least we can take a look at what we're doing here. Now he's doing the same thing in every panel. So I'm going to duplicate the panel, but I do want sort of this panel to be we want to sort of start here, looking at what we're kind of doing, because that's a big wide shot. And we can actually bring this in quite a bit to kind of give the impression that he's, there we go. I'm going to give that horizon line there a good solid background, right? And then we'll take you and we'll say copy paste. And we'll use you as sort of the basis for these other panels. Like so. Usually the rule is to not enlarge. However, there are exceptions to this. One is I am going to be able to use this, and he's, that too. And this way I can just take this one panel right here, Control Shift I, and then delete, and now we deselect and deselect. Right now I got two of these, and I need to have two of these. That's all right. What I am going to try to do is embiggenate this a little bit. what I was trying to say was when I ultimately get to the point of releasing this, I cut it down by quite a bit. I shrink the entire artwork down a lot. So you won't, because see, right now, the real reason you never want to do this is that at 1:1, actually doesn't look too terrible bad, does it? All right. There's the backgrounds. So we'll take our artwork. We've already got that. We're good. Get that. We're good. So we'll take our artwork and we will duplicate the layer. And this way we can go in here and do all of the filling work that we need to do, right? And grab the colors. His treads are actually gray, not reflected very well in my little drawing up there. It's only the insides of his wheels that are brown. Now, there. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to take technical pen. I'm just going to go right here, make sure all of these pieces are all colored in. All right. There we go. That puts the flats in. And we'll add a new layer. There we go. And we just kind of going along here. There. Add a new layer. flip to here, and these are highlight colors. So all we need to do on this one is just put it on overlay. I believe is overlay is the color we want. Okay, undo. We go like this. Right, bork. This just gives a nice sort of even feel to the whole thing. Makes it actually look like it's all right. There's one more thing I want to do. I'm going to clean this up there. All right. Now we have the Kazat, and actually we're going to do the same thing we just did with the other one. I duplicate that layer. I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to put in yellow. That wasn't in the original, but now it's clear. He just got struck by lightning, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Poor guy. Okay, hang on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Somebody just lost their screen privileges.
It's time to take a quick break.
Well, I just took a quick break, sadly. Okay, I want the key to look and show up. So I don't know if this makes a difference to put it in multiply. It does kind of make a difference to put it in multiply. I'm going to go through here. We're just touching up the key a little bit there. All right, just going in here and I'm just touching everything up. All right, we're just kind of touching all the artwork up, cleaning it up, making sure it's nice and sharp. Okay, the wheels here need to be. It's okay that they're not actually connected. That makes it funnier. So, not quite black. That didn't go over very well, did it now? All right. All right. Now we've got, that's a much nicer looking comic strip. Now we'll take a look at the original strip. Do not say it because that, we don't like to say it that way. Take a look at the original strip. Right. Because we want to. Okay. It's not you. Is it you? No. Where's the darn strip? Okay, open. Go back to springs. I'll go back to. That's not what I want. Upload? Was it upload that we did this from? No, I don't even know what these things are. Everything's gotten moved because those all look like 2014s. There we go. That's what we want. So, one of the other things that my wife was commenting on was that we should take this and put it through a spell check. Right? In 1752, comma, a storm. He was testing the theory that lightning was just normal electricity. I wonder if Franklin developed a phobia. Also developed a phobia of thunderstorms. Okay. I've checked all the spelling over here. Now we'll go over here and we'll take you and we will have you like so. Paste. Benjamin, and we get to widow orphan ourselves. As 'tis the nature of the beast. The original versions of these also, I've got to redo them all because they're not actually they're not all in my font. Those of you that have been here for a while know. Just testing the theory that lightning was just normal electricity. Make this a little larger. All right. And we'll widow orphan. There we go. And we've changed the punchline just a little bit. I can't read me that off the side over here. Okay. Also developed a phobia of thunderstorms afterward. Cleaned up the punchline a little bit there, giving it a little bit more of an oomph to it, implying that A, first of all, thunderstorms seems like a much better descriptor than thunder. Right. And it's just the change of 2 letters. And that's all we're changing here is just thunderstorms afterward, right? And also, I've added the word also, which implies A, that our poor dilapidated RC here is suffering from a phobia of thunderstorms now because of this. So there's always that. So anyway, there we go. So we've got now this newer version of this. So I'm going to save it. Make sure this is our newer version of comic number 1. I like this a whole lot better. This guy's a little bit clearer, easier to understand. Oh, that kite needs to be red McReady pants, doesn't it? Like it needs to be red, red, red. So you can see it out there. I can't even tell he's flying a kite at this point. Let's make sure that kite is red. There we go. There. Definitely can see it now. The other thing we need to probably do, which wouldn't hurt us any, is sort of this. Right? Just showing that there's activity up here, you know. Not the wisest move for RC ever, but RC is not notorious for being the wisest of them. I am dripping water from my coffee, which has condensation all over it. So I'm going to put this over here and then do that, because it tends to attract condensation. Usually not a real problem, but I keep putting my elbow in the water over here, and I'm like, it's cold. Okay. So we will save this here in a minute. First, though, I'm going to change its color to yellow because I like yellow on this particular one. It's very funny. It adds to the oddness of this particular strip, you know? There we go. I'm liking it. It looks good. We'll go ahead and trim it down. You hit Control-Shift-E. It flattens everything. And leaves you with just this, where we're going to save as. We're going to save it as a PNG. Crap. We're not going to, well, yeah, you know what? We're going to save this as this size PNG. No, we're not. We're going to cancel. Then we're going to resize. I keep forgetting which commands I need to do here. There's a change image resolution. Is it just 1200? Yeah, it is. It's 1200. Okay. There we go. That's the complete first strip, so we'll save as. There we go. This time we'll save as a PNG. We'll clear Word. Word has done its job. Word to your nose. Okay, so that's the original. This is the redo. Right? So much better. Okay. And that's that. Guys, I'm going to go on ahead and break early today because A, not a lot of viewers joining me today. There's just one of you out there. Hello. Thank you for joining me. B, I really want to get to doing star stuff, star charts, and things like that, but you don't need to be tracking me on that one. That's ridiculous. And C, I need to call somebody who the boss of the convention that I work for, because I need to talk to her about changes in my staff and like people moving around and stuff. So we're going to, well, Donald, if you're here, why didn't you say something? Anyway, it's good to see you. I'm glad you joined me for Springs number one. Bet you didn't even know there was a Springs number 1. So it's good to see you, my friend. I will. Oh, Mary, wake up. Anyway, actually, I kind of wish I had slept more. I got up at like 5, and I just could not go back to sleep. I had all my brain I woke up, but my brain was just like got up to speed, and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm operating on like 4.5 or 5 hours of sleep, which is not good. So I'm going to probably have to go back to bed and crash out for a bit. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. It was good to see you for a minute or two there, Donald. And so for everybody else, though, and for you too, Donald, keep your eyes in the stars. Bye. Computer, good night.